My boyfriend proposed to my best friend in our group chat. So, let me set the scene for you. It's a Tuesday morning. I'm still in bed, half asleep. My phone buzzes on the nightstand. I don't even open my eyes fully. I just reach over, grab it, squint at the screen, and the first thing I see is a photo. Not a good morning text. Not a meme. Not a news notification. A photo. My boyfriend, Daniel, down on one knee, in the middle of what looks like a rooftop restaurant. Fairy lights behind him. A ring box in his hand. A massive smile on his face. And in front of him, my best friend, Mara. I stared at that screen for so long my phone locked itself. Okay, I need to back up. Because this story is long and messy, and the more I think about it, the more I realize I miss so many signs. So just stay with me. Because I promise it gets worse before it gets better. My name is Jess. I'm 28. Daniel and I had been together for almost 4 years. And Mara, she and I had been best friends since we were 15 years old. 13 years. Half our lives. She was the person I called when my mom got sick. She was the one who sat with me in hospital waiting rooms. She knew every secret I had. Or so I thought. Daniel was good. That's honestly the word I'd use. Not exciting. Not dramatic. Just good. Steady. Reliable. The kind of guy your parents approve of immediately. He remembered your coffee order. He showed up when he said he would. He wasn't flashy, but he was there. And Mara was everything I'm not. She was louder, funnier, more magnetic. When she walked into a room, people noticed. I was always sort of the quieter one standing next to her, and that was fine. That was our dynamic. It worked for us. Or I thought it did. The three of us had been hanging out together since Daniel and I started dating. It was natural. Your boyfriend meets your best friend. They get along. Everyone's happy. And they did get along. They got along really, really well. Honestly, I'm going to stop myself here because looking back, I feel like I was the only person in this story who didn't know what was happening. And that's the part that still messes with me. So the photo. I'm lying there in bed, fully awake now, heart pounding, holding my phone with shaking hands. The photo came in through our group chat. Yes, a group chat the three of us had for planning hangouts. The kind where we'd drop restaurant recommendations and memes and, are we still on for Saturday? Someone had added it to the chat by accident. That much was clear. Within 30 seconds the photo disappeared. Deleted. But my phone had already pulled the notification. Already cached the image. I had seen it. I lay there completely still. My brain was doing this thing where it was trying to rewrite what I'd just seen. Maybe it's not what it looks like. Maybe it's a joke. Maybe they're doing some kind of surprise for me and this is staged? I opened the chat. The photo was gone. Like it had never existed. I sat up. Slowly. Put my feet on the floor. Just sat there for a minute, staring at the wall. And then I picked up my phone and texted Daniel. Good morning, smiley face. 3 dots appeared almost immediately. Morning. How'd you sleep? Normal. Casual. Like nothing had happened. Like he hadn't just accidentally sent proof of something I wasn't supposed to know into a group chat at 7:43 in the morning. I wouldn't react like that personally. I think most people would have just called him right then and there. But honestly, I think I was in shock. Like full-on denial mode. I didn't say anything about the photo. I just said I slept fine. The next few hours were the strangest of my life. I went through my entire morning routine on autopilot. Shower. Coffee. Get dressed. I kept picking up my phone and putting it down. Picking it up. Putting it down. I did not call Mara. I didn't know what I would even say. I didn't know what the photo meant. Or no, that's not true. I knew exactly what it meant. I just didn't want to know it yet. Let me tell you what the photo looked like, because I can still see it clearly even now. Daniel was wearing that dark blue shirt I got him for his birthday last year. The one I picked out because I thought it brought out his eyes. He was kneeling on what looked like a rooftop patio, the kind with string lights and potted plants everywhere. A nice place. Nicer than anywhere he'd ever taken me. Mara was standing in front of him. She was wearing a dress I recognized, red off the shoulder, The one she'd bought months ago and told me she was saving for something special. I remember thinking that was a weird thing to say about a dress. I remember thinking nothing of it at the time. She had her hands over her mouth. He was smiling up at her. And here's what gets me. He looked happy. Not nervous. Not guilty. Genuinely, completely happy. And I don't know if that's better or worse. I called my sister around noon. Not because I had a plan. Not because I knew what to do. Just because I needed to say it out loud to another human being before I completely lost my mind. Lena, I said. I need to tell you something and I need you to not freak out. Okay, she said carefully. I think Daniel is proposing to Mara. Silence. I'm sorry, what? This morning. There was a photo. In our group chat. It was there and then it was gone, but I saw it and… Jess. Her voice had gone very flat. Very careful. How long has this been going on? I don't know, I said. I don't know anything. I just know what I saw. Okay, she said. Okay. Do not text either of them. Do not call them. Come over. Right now. I drove to Lena's apartment in a kind of fog. I kept telling myself maybe there was an explanation. Maybe I misread the photo. Maybe it was old. Maybe I don't know. My brain was working overtime trying to find an exit from what I already knew. Lena opened the door, took one look at me, and pulled me inside. Tell me everything, she said. So I did. She didn't say much while I talked. She just listened. And when I was done, she didn't offer me an alternative explanation or try to make me feel better. She said, how long have you noticed them being close? And I said, they've always been close. I thought that was good. I thought. And then I stopped. Because something surfaced. A memory. Small. Quiet. The kind of thing you file away and don't look at too closely. About 6 months ago, the three of us were at a barbecue at our friend's place. I'd had a bit to drink. I went inside to get water. I was in the kitchen for maybe 5 minutes. When I came back out, Daniel and Mara were standing by the fence talking. Close. Not doing anything. Just talking. And when I walked up, they both smiled at me. But there was this split second before the smiles, this tiny pause, where something shifted on both their faces. I told myself I imagined it. I hadn't imagined it. Honestly, this part makes no sense to me. Not the memory. The memory makes total sense in retrospect. What doesn't make sense is how I just let it go. I've been that person. I think we've all been that person. You see something and you just choose not to see it because seeing it would break everything. I stayed at Lena's for the rest of the afternoon. We went through everything I could remember. Every moment where something felt slightly off. There weren't that many, which is either because Daniel and Mara were very careful, or because I was very trusting. Probably both. Around 4 o'clock, my phone rang. Mara. I looked at the screen for a long time. Lena looked at me. You don't have to answer. I answered. Hey, I said. My voice came out surprisingly normal. Hey. Hers was bright. Too bright. What are you up to today? I was thinking maybe we could grab dinner. I said I was busy. Oh, bummer. Tomorrow. Maybe, I said. I'll text you. Okay. Also, random question. Did you get any weird notifications this morning? Like a photo or something? My phone was acting up, and I think I may have accidentally sent something to the wrong chat. There it was. That was the moment. I know some of you are screaming at your screen right now. Believe me, I know. She was testing the waters. Trying to figure out if I'd seen it. And I had 2 choices in that moment. Tell her the truth, or play dumb and buy myself time to figure out what I was actually dealing with. I played dumb. No, I said. Nothing weird. Why, what was it? Oh, it's nothing, she said, laughing lightly. Just an embarrassing photo. You know me. I'm a disaster with technology. Ha, I said. Yeah. We hung up. I put the phone down. My hands were completely steady, which surprised me. I thought I'd be shaking. Instead, I felt very, very calm. The kind of calm that comes right before something breaks open. That night, I couldn't sleep. I lay in my bed, our bed, technically, though Daniel had his own apartment and only stayed over a few times a week, and I stared at the ceiling and I thought about 4 years. 4 years of Christmases and inside jokes and learning each other's families and bad days and good days and all the small ordinary things that make up a life with someone. I thought about all the times I'd mentioned marriage to Daniel. Not in a pressuring way, just casually. Just the way you do when you've been with someone for years and you're starting to think about the future. He'd always been vague. Not opposed. Just a not quite there yet. I want to get there, he'd say. I'm just not ready to rush it. He wasn't ready to rush it with me. Apparently, he was plenty ready with someone else. I didn't confront either of them for 5 days. I know that sounds crazy. 5 days is a long time to sit with something like that. But I needed to be sure. I needed to understand exactly what I was walking into before I opened a door that couldn't be closed again. So I did something I'm not entirely proud of. I asked Daniel if we could have dinner. Just the two of us. A nice dinner. I said I'd missed him. He said that sounded great. We made a reservation for Friday night. And on Thursday evening, I went through 4 years of text messages. I don't know what made me do it. I want to say I had a specific reason, but honestly I think I just needed to see it with my own eyes. The whole story, not just the ending, and I found it. Not all at once, but piece by piece. Messages where Mara was the first person Daniel texted in the morning. Strings of conversation that started out normal. Group hangout plans, funny videos, and slowly, over months, shifted into something else. More frequent. More personal. Things he'd normally tell me. Then a stretch of about 2 months, roughly 8 months ago, where the messages between them were deleted on his end. Gone. Blank space in the timeline where something had clearly been. Then they resumed. More carefully this time. More surface level. Like they'd made a decision to be more careful. Let me just say something here. If you're reading this and you are thinking about doing something like this, just don't. Whatever you're contemplating, whatever the just this once you're telling yourself, it is never just this once. And the person you're doing it to, they will find out. Maybe not today. Maybe not the way I found out. But they will find out. And they will remember it for the rest of their lives. Friday dinner. I got dressed. I put on the green dress Daniel always said he loved. I did my hair. I looked, I think, like someone who had everything together. We met at the restaurant. He smiled when he saw me across the room. That same genuine warm smile I had fallen in love with. I sat down across from him and I looked at his face and I thought, this is the last normal moment. After this, nothing is the same. We ordered drinks. We talked about our weeks. He asked about my sister, about my work, about a project I'd been stressed about. He listened. He always did listen, I'll give him that. He was good at making you feel heard. About halfway through dinner, I put down my fork. I need to ask you something, I said. He looked up. Something shifted in his expression. Almost imperceptible. But I'd spent 4 years learning that face. Sure, he said. What's up? Are you in love with Mara? The silence that followed was maybe 10 seconds long, but it felt like 10 minutes. He didn't say no. He didn't say no. That was the moment I knew, even before he spoke another word, that everything I'd feared was true. He set down his glass. He looked at the table. And then he looked at me. Jess, he said. I am so sorry. I don't remember a lot of what happened after that. I remember leaving the restaurant without finishing dinner. I remember sitting in my car in the parking lot for a very long time. I remember calling Lena and not being able to say anything for a solid minute, and her just staying on the line and saying, I'm here, I'm here, I'm here. He had confirmed it. All of it. He and Mara had developed feelings for each other over the past year. They hadn't acted on it, or so he said, until a few months ago. They tried to stop. They hadn't been able to. He had been trying to figure out how to tell me. He was sorry. He loved me. He did love me, he said, and I almost laughed, but not the way he loved her. He was going to propose to her. He was proposing to my best friend. He'd bought a ring. He'd made a reservation at a rooftop restaurant. He had done all the things I'd privately hoped he might one day do for me, and he'd done them for her. I didn't speak to Mara for 3 weeks after that. She tried. She called, she texted, she showed up at my apartment once, and I looked at her through the peephole and just didn't open the door. I wasn't ready. I wasn't sure I'd ever be ready. What do you say to someone you've known for 13 years? Someone who sat beside you in hospital waiting rooms? Someone who knew every version of you? What do you say when that person chose to do this? Eventually, she sent me a long message. Pages long. She explained everything, when it started, how long she'd been fighting it, how many times she'd told herself it would go away. She said she'd hated herself every day for months. She said she knew she had no right to ask for forgiveness, but she was asking anyway. She said, "You were my person. You still are my person. I know I've destroyed that. I know you have every reason to never speak to me again. But I need you to know that I love you. I have always loved you. And I am more sorry than I know how to say." And here's where it gets really complicated. Because I read that message and I cried for about 2 hours. Not just from anger. From grief. Because losing Daniel hurt. But losing Mara, losing 13 years of friendship, that hurt differently. It hurt in a place I didn't know I had. It's been about 8 months now. I'll tell you where things stand. Daniel and Mara are engaged. They went through with it, the rooftop, the ring, everything. I know this because mutual friends exist, and the world is small and some information finds you whether you want it to or not. I don't follow either of them on social media anymore. I've made my peace with not knowing the details. Mara and I have spoken twice since everything happened. Short conversations. Careful. The kind where you're both walking on glass and you both know it. I don't know what we are to each other now. I don't know if there's a word for it. We're not friends. We're not enemies. We're two people who meant the world to each other, and who now exist in a kind of quiet aftermath. As for me, I won't tell you I'm fine, because that would be a lie and I think you'd know it. I'm not fine in the shiny, everything happens for a reason way. I don't have a beautiful, neat ending to offer you. But I'm okay. I'm genuinely, steadily okay. I moved apartments. I started running, not for any deep reason, just because I needed something to do with my body when my brain was too loud. I've been closer with my sister than I've been in years. I've been honest with myself in ways I wasn't before. About what I want, about what I was willing to overlook, about how sometimes we don't see things because we're afraid of what we'll have to do if we do see them. And I know someone in the comments is going to say, "But did you do anything wrong?" And I've thought about that a lot. I don't think I caused this. I don't think being trusting is the same as being naive. I don't think any amount of paying closer attention would have made them love each other less. But I do think I learned something. About the difference between comfort and connection. About how good enough and right are not the same thing. About how sometimes two people can be genuinely fond of each other and still fundamentally wrong for each other in ways neither of them is willing to admit. I deserve someone who is choosing me, not tolerating me while wanting someone else. We all do. One last thing. About 2 months ago, I was at a coffee shop, just sitting there, reading, minding my own business. And a woman sat down at the table next to mine and we accidentally reached for the same sugar at the same time and both laughed about it. We ended up talking for almost an hour. Her name is Clara. I don't know what that is yet. I don't know if it's anything. But I noticed it felt different. The ease of it, the way the conversation moved. And I thought, this is what it's supposed to feel like. Not the big dramatic falling. Just the easy, natural thing. I'm paying attention now. That's the most honest thing I can tell you. If you're out there right now sitting with something you're not sure how to look at, some notification you wish you hadn't seen, some pause in someone's face you've been trying to forget, I'm not going to tell you it's going to be okay. I don't know your story. But I'll say this. You saw it. You already know. And you deserve more than a life spent pretending you don't.